Yeah, Coach, I guess just kind of a little bit of a big picture question. The starts of the second half, you guys have had some struggles. What do you see are the issues? What needs to be better moving forward?
Yeah, just I thought, first of all, I thought the first half was exactly what we wanted. You know, you get a lead and you're up 26. So the good part is if that's what we got to work on, that's a good thing. You know, if we got to figure out how to figure that problem out. But I thought just the second half we just lost a little bit of our edge. You know, at both ends of the floor. The first half we were getting stops, allowed us to get out in transition, allowed us to get our shooters free. Second half we weren't quite as stingy defensively. You know, we're taking the ball out of the net a lot more, and the game really just slowed down at that point. And I thought the game it was just a choppy game. You know, a lot of fouls, a lot of dead ball situations and things. So never really had any flow in that second half. But I thought we were able to, after a little lull there, I thought we were able to get it pushed back out. I thought, you know, Tayton did a good job getting downhill and getting to the rim and creating some things for us to, you know, open that thing back up again.
I guess to follow on from that, I mean, you guys are top 20 KenPom defensive efficiency here headed into the break. And I know when we talked in the summer, you said you felt like your team was further along offensively than it was defensively. You know, do you see things that kind of like, I don't want to say surprise you, but building blocks that maybe have gotten into place faster defensively, or maybe that have changed your expectations for this team defensively because of what overall you have been able to do there?
Yeah, I think defensively I've really liked it, and I've said it from the summer. We weren't there yet, but I thought there was a lot of promise for us as a defense. I think our ball toughness is where it starts. I think our perimeter guys do a really good job of making things difficult and challenging for guys to not just play, you know, freely. And they've really bought into that and given us great effort there. You know, like I told the guys, we're, you know, whatever our rankings are right now, it really comes down to, like, we still have to clean up the defensive rebounding. You know, that number would be even better, and that's got to be our priority as we come back from Christmas break here, is clean that up so now we can get out and play in transition, which is going to ultimately help our offense.
And Tayton, if you don't mind if I just follow up on that, like, just Coach talked about making it hard for guys to get downhill. Just how much of an emphasis is that for this group, especially when you think about the harder it is for the ball to get in the paint, the easier it's going to be to do things like in possessions, clear rebounds, et cetera?
Definitely just keeping them out of the paint, because it keeps you from having them little short, easy shots. So every time you get in the paint, they try to kick it out. But if you can get them spraying it around the three-point line, we're already in position to help. So it just keeps the defense solid.
I noticed you ran something for Tucker right out of the gate tonight, got him a good look. He had a really good game on the glass, too. I mean, I know he struggled a little bit recently with the shot, but it's obviously a father-son relationship. But as his coach, I mean, what do you see like on a night when he's shooting the ball well versus a night where maybe he struggles?
Yeah, I think a little thing like, you know, everybody, even the really good shooters sometimes can get in a little slump and start to maybe question themselves a little bit. And we even mentioned the other night, you know, when Lamar had a little stretch early in the year, just trying to find him an easy one. So we started the game out, tried to get him a post touch, see if we could get, you know, something going, you know, a little further in, see the ball go in, and hopefully get that started for him. But, you know, long term, it's probably just a good time to get a break, everybody get their legs back underneath them and come back and be refreshed again.
I was going to ask you about that in terms of, you know, you had a kind of a limited roster number, you know, available for injuries kind of at the start. How do you feel you made through these 2 months, and how are guys, I mean, do you feel like this break is going to be, you pull back a little bit, and how have you kind of managed, how is everybody, you know, feeling 2 months in?
Yeah, I think the good part is we're getting more guys healthy, and that's even helped with practice too. You just got more bodies that we can keep guys fresh. So that part's been good. You know, it has been a long, you know, summer and things with our trip, and now the season, and to have a few days off here, it's a nice clean break. Just not only physically but mentally. Just take a couple of days and clear your head, and then come back and really you know, be locked in to get ready for a long stretch run.
Darren, kind of on that, with this break coming up, it's kind of a natural break in the season, finished on conference play tonight. Just how would you assess your team through the first 2 months of the season? What's kind of the progress report for you guys right now?
Yeah, we've learned a lot. I mean, it's you know, like we've talked about, when you have all new guys, you know, you see what you see in practice, but until you get under the game lights, you don't know for sure how everybody's going to respond to different situations and circumstances, home, road, you know, zones, man, pressure, no pressure, those type of things. So I think as a coaching staff and as a team, we've learned a lot. You know, we've we felt like there was an opportunity or two that we let get away. But hopefully it was something that we understand why, and it's things that are within our control, and we can correct it. And if we can come back and do that and get ourselves ready, that maybe we don't pay for that later down the road. So it was a couple good learning lessons in there. We just have to make sure that we learn from them.
Yeah, Tayton, what was going right in the first half, offensively and defensively, for you guys to get that big lead?
Just sharing the ball. We had this thing where we talked about it first, giving up a good shot for an even better shot, and I feel like we did a great job of that.
Yeah, Coach, on the offensive end, do you expect over the next couple of weeks that there'll be points of emphasis, whether it's improving against switching defenses or heavy ball pressure or anything like that? Like, what will be your areas of focus?
Yeah, I thought these last maybe 2 weeks, we've become a little more turnover prone. So, getting back to making sure we have some ball security and ball toughness with those things. And then really, as physicality ramps up, you have to put more of an emphasis on your screens and more of an emphasis on winning the war, as we like to say, whether you're the cutter or the ball handler. And between the two, now all of a sudden you can create some opportunities because you get two to the ball, and now we can find people in space. But those are the things that we got to get better at. I know from an offensive standpoint, at times when we've struggled, we haven't been as good in those areas. So we need to do a much better job of that as we get back from Christmas here and get ready for the new year.
Tayton, kind of following up what the coach just said, both of these games you guys have won comfortably. The defense has been great. You've shot the lights out in the first half, and things go kind of sideways in the second half. Is the team staying locked in, the foot down, hands on the throat, just trying to do everything till the end, even though you've got these comfortable leads? Is that possibly playing a part?
Yeah, so just trying to weather the storm. Like, we know whenever we come back out there and we're up 20, we know this team's going to come out and try to punch us first. So trying to weather that first little 4 or 5 minute storm. If we can't punch them in the mouth first, then we got to definitely rebound the ball. Got to really lock into the little details whenever we come out of that second half.
Tayton, it seemed like you took over there in the second half while the offense kind of struggled a little bit. Was that something you saw, something that Coach said? What kind of happened for you to step up and get downhill more often in the second half?
Just something we seen on film. We see that there was a couple people that we could attack off the dribble. And Coach believed in me and thought I could get by the first one. And I had some teammates that set some good screens and got me open, and just happened to work out good.
Given the context of how new the team was at the beginning of the year, Tate, this is for Tate, how much better do you think you are as a group now than if you look back 2 months?
I definitely think we've took a lot of big steps, being able to understand like what each other's really good at. We kind of know where, like, if we set a screen for somebody, we know if they're going to roll, we know if they're going to pop. As at first, we didn't know. Like, we didn't know who was our best shooters. We didn't know like who was going to do what. But everybody buying into their role definitely helped us a lot.
Yeah, Coach, as far as the break, sort of, how do you sort of break this up? How do you handle as far as time off when they come back? And then when you do come back, outside of things you mentioned, what are 2 or 3 things you look at and say, I'd like for us to be improved in January in these areas?
Yeah, the guys, basically they're off right now, and a lot of them won't be able to leave till tomorrow, but they'll come back. We'll start practice again on the 27th, so they'll get a good full 4 days, which is a nice break. You don't always get that, for this. So, and then we'll practice the night of the 27th. I think the biggest thing that we talked about the several key areas, the turnovers and the defensive rebounding. I mean, that's always going to be something that we're going to prioritize because I believe that's. You have to win those 2 battles every night if you're going to give yourself a chance. So we have to turn the ball over less, defensive rebound better. So those will be the top 2. And then it's the screening, the force, all that stuff on the offensive end, playing with pace. And then defensively, just continue to do what we've been doing and try to get better at it and continue to find new ways as we maybe see different offenses that are going to attack us in different ways. That we have some things ready for that when that time comes.
Tayton, Coach has talked a lot about defensive rebounding, and I know you guys maybe don't have the biggest front court, so that also falls on the guards a little bit. How do you guys kind of improve in that area moving forward, and what is the key in your mind to becoming a good defensive rebounding team?
I think it's defensive rebounding, so it's kind of more like just a want to do it. So we're having our guards go in there instead of leaking out. We got to get us all 5 crashing. We know that if we can hold them to 1 shot, our defense is pretty solid.